Hello, everybody, and welcome to Late Night Football. Welcome to another weekly episode. We didn't do one last week, because,
Yeah,
there's
that's
a
my
lot.
bad. That's my bad.
No,
I-
I'm
it
inserting
was-
his scope. Yeah, well,
yeah,
name anyone here.
yeah. It's me.
We don't need to name names. But that it's not about how many times you skip it; it's about how many times you do it. That's the way we look at it.
Yep.
So,
Look at
yeah.
that.
So we're
Top
back
class
here
ball.
today. Welcome, Knayha. Of course, is the gun
Thanks,
there.
Rohit.
Yeah, and we're going to talk today. We're going to talk about Spurs. We're going to talk about a club that, you know what, it's an interesting, the title says the curious case of the Spurs, but to be honest, is it curious? I don't know. Is it or is it not? Because let's go a little bit back because I know a lot of people talk about Spurs and the history of always being bottlers and all of that. But if you think about it, I know when I started following football, I think Spurs were always seen as a top half of the table team, top six, top four, these weren't a
Yeah.
thing. I mean, top four was a thing, but it was a close thing for certain people. So there was no such thing as like, well, we got to finish in the top four or something like that. And Spurs were never there. I mean, Spurs were always there or thereabouts. You'd see them in the top six, top seven, never really threatening to break in. And then, of course, Redknapp came, he changed this, he got them into top four, changed that. Then Pochettino came, made them a regular top four team. But is that where Tottenham is I'm just curious, is that the norm or is that the exception to their history? I guess it depends on the perception of that.
Exactly. I think it's something which is pretty, and you've nailed it. I think the perception part of it. It's like clubs like Manchester United, Manchester or Manchester City now, Liverpool, Chelsea, or Arsenal. For them, like they have a legacy. So it's they've won. Like, okay, Arsenal not that much, but then Chelsea very recent, Man City very recent. But United has, so they have a legacy of winning. But then Spurs has not had that legacy. So they've not had a history of kind of winning back-to-back titles or kind of creating waves or winning silverware. And that goes, and that shows in the team as well, and that shows in the mentality, that shows in the perception. Exactly what the word I would use, perception. Like you don't really expect them to win. Like Pochettino taking them to a final, like he is God for them.
Well, he should be. Anyway, Champions League final with Spurs.
Yeah, exactly. Like he got that team to the final, and and that's exactly what the problem is then, because that's the best they could do ever. Like till now, like even today, that's their best achievement. That being the Champions League. Okay, they won as well some silverware down if you go in the history books and look at it. But I think there's that's the achievement. And then you've mentioned that Pochettino was kind of, obviously, I won't say it's an exception. It's kind of a club trying to break the shackles of breaking that perception. Now the thing is like, but then that's a good thing, right? Is like now Spurs is like, okay, we reached the Champions League final, dude. It's not that we are bad. We just need a good manager, or we just need a good team. We need players. So now they're thinking about it, and now they're talking like that. So I think that's kind of that's where Spurs lie in my mind as related to perception.
Well, to be fair, I don't think anybody expected Spurs to make that Champions League final that season. And it's not, to be fair, I never expected them to win it, even when they were in the final. I didn't think that they were going to win it. I don't think anybody did. That would have been a shock, the shock of the century. I think if they're probably bigger than Leicester winning the Premier League, would be Spurs winning the Champions League, in my opinion.
It would have been a shock to them as well, but anyway.
Yeah, but let's talk about the present now. I think that's the history part of it. Let's talk about the present, and I guess it does tie into the history. But what is wrong with Spurs? Because they always seem to have these good teams. They always seem to have good teams, not great teams, but good teams. And yet somehow, it's like they're not able to put it together. Let's look at it from the other perspectives. Like you had Arsenal, who had bad teams, and that was fine. You had Manchester City, who had good teams, and good teams that became great teams because they were able to put it all together. You had United, who suck like pretty much like from top to bottom. So that's Manchester United I'm talking about. They suck from top to bottom, so they're out. But Spurs always seem to have this good team. It's like United was veered from one extreme to the other, but and City probably were at one extreme and then got to the other extreme, through money and creative sponsorship deals. Arsenal obviously have more or less now they're kind of getting back there, but they're still finding their way back in some ways. But Spurs always seem to have that good consistent team because they always have that good team. They're just not able to take that final step. Because if you think about it, Spurs are one of the most consistent teams in the league, actually, I would say, over the last 20 years, because I think just that one season when Juan de Ramos was sacked, I think that was the only season when they were not in the top, 7 or top 6 or top 7.
Yeah.
Otherwise, and Redknapp, of course, couldn't get them into the Europa League. Otherwise, they usually always, Europa Conference, Champions League, they're always in one of those European competitions. They always seem to be there. Yet for some reason, they can't take that next step of being a consistently top tier team.
It's almost like the pressure is kind of gets to them pretty early on. It's like, and also the fact that, it's, again, it's more like the perception is like, it's a good seven is a good finish. It's basically like that. And then you're like, is it a good finish? Or does it really make sense for them to, and, it's all motivation because, you have players who've like consistently been 7th, 6th, 5th, sometime 8th, 9th, okay, not 9th ever, but I think 7th or something around that. And then it just kind of shows then in the mentality because you're right, the team has not been bad. They have really good players. Like, of course, we can start off with Harry Kane and Lucas Moura, Heung-Min Son. Now they've got Kulusevski is there now. Bentancur. So they have a good squad. Even like these 5 players, like the players that I've just named, they're all amazing. They all play for the national teams. And these are not bad players. Okay, now you want to go deep in the defense. Okay, then the problem starts when you start going there. Like who's there? But then it's not a bad team, I would say. It's like, yeah, Sanchez is there, Romero, Ben Davies, Eric Dier, Hugo Lloris, a world-class keeper, World Cup winner. So it's not that they lack talent, I would say. It's just that, yeah, it's something about the mentality, I would say, and the coaches, and I think the managers who come in. Everyone's tried. Like Pochettino is the most successful, I would say. Mourinho came in; it was never going to work because I feel like it was a, yes, that could not have worked the way he worked and the way he kind of just pushes players in a different way. Like, and they're used to Pochettino kind of putting his arm around the shoulder, talking, comforting and getting them the best mental shape. Mourinho is much more hardcore. He will be like, if you're playing for me, it's more like him, not the team. And Pochettino doesn't have that in it. So it's a different of managers as well. And now with Conte, I think he's an amazing manager. Like he is a Champions League winner. He's he's not won the Champions League. He's won the Premier League winner, I think. The Premier League winner with Chelsea.
Yeah.
And the Serie, and did he win the Serie A?
Yeah, he's won Serie A quite a few times. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think. Yeah. So I think not the Champions. I think, but he lost in the Champions League or some
no,
final.
He sucks at Europe. He sucks in Europe, so he's never made a Champions League final.
Okay, he's not the Europe guy. Okay, I've got my stats totally wrong then. Fuck. Anyway, so it's sorry, my bad. But then I think it's kind of, Conte is kind of coming in. He's an amazing manager. He starts off, he gets on a run. He tries to get that team out. He tries. After Kane, kind of the debacle that Man City tried, Levy kind of coming in and saying that he's not leaving. Harry Kane starts getting his mojo back. But then January window, he starts kind of, I think he demanded the board to kind of give him more players, I would say. And the board said, that's not happening. The plan is to look at this in the summer window. And he was like, how am I supposed to win stuff? And
I guess and then it was like, Spurs, you don't have to win stuff.
Exactly, I think could be, but that's again the thing. Like,
I'm joking.
But then could be like, I don't know. Like, but what do you think about this word? I think, like, what do you think? I feel my question to you on this is, how much is Spurs's mediocre performance season out based due to Levy?
Well, I mean, to be fair, Conte has always built his teams on defense. Right, if you think about it, it's always that back 5 that he's always built his defense on. Look at any of his good teams. Look at Chelsea. Chelsea played with the back 7 actually because they had Conte and Matic as well together. So it's always been about that. We look at Spurs; they don't have that. You talked about defense. I mean, the defense, is pretty underwhelming because Sessegnon is someone who's off the radar for so long. Now he's trying to make a comeback into the side. Then you've got Sanchez, who for some reason has never ever, consistently made it to that level that probably people thought they would. Romero is okay. I mean, he was good at Atlanta, but then, being an Atlanta defender, how good are you if you're a defender for Atlanta, because they don't defend that much? So, there's that. Dier, I mean, again, another player who's really flattered to deceive for so long. You've got Tanganga, who I think he tries to play him as a right back, but he can't really play there. So, it's a lot of young players with potential, or players who never fulfilled their potential. I think they missed the boat by not replacing Alderweireld and VErtonghen when they could. I think that was probably the best phase, when they had a really good centre-half pairing, and they never replaced them. Of course, and then they also had Dier at that time, and they had two good players. Even Ben Davies, for that matter, has not been very good either. So, although Reguilon, I think, has been okay, but again, he's not, I mean, Real Madrid don't let you go if you're good. So that's another thing, right? So I just feel that they're players who are either too young and still need time, or have been really like players who flatter to deceive. And so that's issue for Conte. Conte wants ready-made players, and he's not getting them because Levy's like, well, I'm not going to pay 40 million pounds for a left back who I cannot resell for 100 million pounds. And I'm not going to pay, that I'm not going to get you that, and so that's how Levy operates. And that's, something that I said. So a lot of people are like, well, the Spurs, did the great thing. They got, Conte, it's the master stroke, it's, scoop. And I was just like, wait till the transfer window is over. If he gets the players he wants, then it's a great signing. Otherwise, it's just a plaster on a wound, and he's just going to go, because he's not going to get the players that he wants. And that's just how it is. And that's with Conte, I think he will leave. You know what? It's funny. So sometimes you have these, you have all these good managers, and I wasn't born obviously at the time. But again, I'll go back to the analogy of United from between 68 to about 86, which was about 20 years. United had some managers. They always had managers. They always had good players. And none of them succeeded because for some reason none of them could really, it requires a special character to come in and kind of change the mentality of the team. Because for those who don't know today, back in the, and I wasn't born, I read this, back in the 70s and 80s, United were a mid-table team, they were a glorified mid-table club. Because that's how they were. I mean, of course, back then top four wasn't a thing. For real, it wasn't a thing. But that's what United were. I think that's what Spurs are. Spurs are glorified at this point, and it's no shame to say that they're just a glorified mid-table team, but they need the special character to, and a special support system to kind of get them out of that. Pochettino nearly got them out of it, very nearly. He did it. He almost won the Champions League. He almost won the Premier League. So he did those things. People forget that Spurs were close to winning a Premier League as well once upon a time. So he did those, but I just think that final push that was needed. I think, again, you need special characters, and I don't think Levy is that kind of person who can give him that push. And now with the stadium, I don't know what's going to happen going forward for Spurs. So that's why I said.
Because they had a ready-made player, Tanganga and Ndombele, and that didn't work well. So Levy would have been like, I tried this. This doesn't work for me.
They went the whole season, right? But they didn't sign a single player. I think it was after the Champions League final. They didn't sign anybody, expecting Pochettino to somehow change it or change course. Was that the season?
That was the season.
That was got into the Champions League final. That's when they didn't sign anybody. It was a weird one. And then of course Liverpool didn't sign anyone the following season, and they won the Premier League. So who knows? Maybe there's a secret there. But I don't. Yeah, I mean, and Ndombele, I think. To be fair, I don't think they paid that much. I think they paid 50 million for him. 50 million. That's or 60 million, 50, 60, somewhere on that. So
65 million or something.
I mean, that's that 65 million gets you a Ruben Dias and a bit more. So it doesn't even get you that much, really. I mean, not I'm saying that Ruben Dias is a bad player, or I know the debate always edges on. But what I'm saying is that that's a defender, right? And then that's 60 million gets you a centre half, a great centre half, not a good centre half, great centre half, whatever you want to call him. But that's all you get. So 65 million isn't really a lot if you want a top, midfielder. That's not gonna.
No, but I'm just trying to say, like, Levy, like, spending money, because it's kind of getting big players in a way of spending big money. Like that's also the other thing, right? Like, Spurs don't spend big money. They, as you said, they like kind of selling players for big money. Like Bale, of course. I think after Bale was there anyone that is sold bigger, or like any? No.
After Bale, no, not since Bale. No, they haven't sold. Yeah, I don't think so. Eriksen. pretty cheap in the end. So yeah.
Yeah. Eventually, like I don't think they sold anything after Bale. So I think they're still looking for their Bale in a way. But then
they did find their Bale. They just didn't sell him. It was Kane. They could have sold him. Anyway, let's change gears. I think we'll go into the future now a little bit, because I think that's where Spurs are at the moment, to think about if there was a bid for Harry Kane. And I know a club that will bid for Harry Kane. This is my biggest fear, because I was seeing reports of this, that there's going to be a club that's going to bid for him, and I'm worried about that. If a club said, we'll give you 100 million pounds, because nobody's paying 150 million for Kane now. But if somebody said, we're going to pay you 100 million pounds for Kane, if you were Levy, and again, we're not Levy, but do you think you would say, yeah, I'll take it now? Or would you go,
nope,
no, I'm not going to take it?
No, I don't think he's going to say it. It's basically going to be like, that's my stand. He doesn't leave. That's it.
You know what? Yeah, I think that's what he would do. But what I would do if I was in the place, I would take it. I would say I'd make it 120. Make it 100 plus 20 million bonuses. You have it.
Absolutely. I think that was the offer, right? For City, they wanted more. Like Levy wanted a little more.
150.
And City,
he wanted basically 150. I think he wanted 120 straight cash, and then probably 30.
120 and 30 as add-ons.
I think, or he wanted straight 150 cash, no bonuses. But yeah, I would say 100 plus 20 bonuses. Easy bonuses, not like crap bonuses, but I would say, yeah, take it. I would take it. But again, Levy won't do that. And the reason for that is not because he wants to win a trophy, not because of ambition, because that's the only way they can sell tickets. But you could sell Harry Kane. You can build your team around Son, and you can actually, buy a couple of players, maybe a couple of defenders. You could maybe buy, another midfielder. You could buy players that you could build around Son. But I mean,
you can build a team basically, like how Liverpool did, right? Selling Coutinho and then getting some really good top class players and then building around them, and that was really nice. And I think again, it's more like, will Levy do it? Is that his style? I think that's what Conte is hoping for, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, it's similar. Conte could sell Kane and tell him to buy Lukaku, because he wants to leave, doesn't he? So there's that.
Yeah, he wants to. There's a lot of Inter love there. So could be.
Yeah. It could be like, Spurs is like the Inter. You could convince him. But anyway, but yeah, I mean, it's a funny story, but we will see what happens with Harry Kane. I think that's always good. I just feel that they've been also hindered by the whole circus around him. Like, I mean, this whole, every time he played badly, it was like, well, why is he playing badly? Is he just untold to go? And then he played. I had one good game, and who was it against? Manchester City. And I jokingly said it, but it might be turned out to be true. I think he was just angry at not being, that City didn't make more of an effort to sign him.
He was fabulous that game.
Yeah, and it's like, this is
fabulous.
Yeah, and it's like, Pep, are you watching? This is why I'm going to screw Spurs everywhere else, but I'm going to screw you as well, because I want to show you what I can do. So I think he was motivated. But yeah, I mean,
and also the fact that kind of the way it led to it, like you had they lost 3 straight games, then they beat City at Etihad the last minute, and they lose to Burnley.
Mm-hmm.
And they go crazy on Leeds, and then they go crazy on Leeds, score 4, and then they lost again to FA Cup, in the FA Cup, to Middlesbrough.
Even United didn't lose to Middlesbrough. So
but I'm just saying to say that
United didn't lose to Middlesbrough. So United didn't lose to Middlesbrough. It was a draw.
And that's
penalties are a draw. They're not a loss. They're a draw. So you just one lose.
Oh God!
Yeah, I'm just saying. Technically that counts as a draw. I'm just being technical here. But anyway, it's. I mean, Leeds. Everybody beats Leeds. I think at this point that's just fair to say. I mean, I always look at that and go, that's not a game that you base your season on or that you base judgment on. I know a lot of people do that, but you're not supposed to, because Leeds is either you're very good against them or you're very bad against them, because that's the way they play. There's no middle ground with Leeds. But yeah, I mean, this is surprising, the form that has dropped, especially at the time when they had the top 4 race in their hands. They could have actually got there. And they just built it for some reason. I don't know why it has happened. Nobody knows why. And maybe it's the pressure. Maybe they're not good at chasing. Maybe they're just not good at Maybe they're good at being able to get in and then hold on to it, and maybe not the kind of team that can chase a lead down. Maybe that is a mentality thing. I don't know. But what do you think? Do you think they'll make top four?
I don't think so. No, that's not gonna. I think it's more to do with Conte and his kind of press conferences where he's almost like lashing out. So that's one thing which I've kind of. It's pretty sad to see somebody other than Jose Mourinho following this rule book of kind of talking through media, like going after the media, and Conte is doing something very similar.
Yeah.
And the way he's kind of ranting in a way, I wanted 4 and we let go of 4 and we only got 2, so we are net negative in a way. That's what he was saying. We're like and then he basically said that I'm supposed to play young players and build them, and so on and so forth. So it's almost like kind of lashing out. And then he goes and one of the interviews is basically like, maybe I'm not good enough for this club and stuff. And I think that just does not, it's again Mourinho style in a way, what we've known. And yeah,
I just feel like Spurs have bungled the last 2 appointments. I think Mourinho and Conte were both sort of like fan appeasement signings. I don't think either of them really fit the Spurs mold. Because neither of them are good at developing young players. They're not. They're just not.
Yeah.
Conte isn't. Mourinho isn't. They win things. They don't develop players. Right? They don't have the time for that. And so bringing them into a club where you don't have a history of winning things, and expecting.
Yeah, it's pretty hard.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for them because they had to develop young players, which they never wanted to do in the first place. They thought they were going to go in there to win stuff, I mean, the allure is there to be a Spurs manager that actually wins things. It would be something special if anybody, it's like being a Roma manager, for example. Roma are a big club as well, but they don't generally win things, and that's the same thing with Spurs. I mean, trying to win things is something that might allure managers, but not if, but at the same time, if they're being told, well, you got to develop young players. We're not looking. We want to win things, but we want to develop young players because we can't buy expensive players. So you've got to do that. I think Pochettino came closest to that balance where he was developing young players, and at the same time, he didn't win any trophies, but he was, achieving certain minor objectives, making them, into players. And so I think that's the kind of mold they need to go back to. I think once Conte is gone, they need to find a manager who's going to be able to develop young players. Maybe and then they've got to kind of think of, well, and somebody who can balance those objectives. There are not a lot of managers who can do that, who would want to come to Spurs, but they've got to find somebody like that. Maybe
I have a trick question for you. Do you think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will join Spurs?
He could, but then again, he's not somebody who develops youngsters either, so it would just be another, and he doesn't even win things, so it would be again a wrong appointment. I mean, that's just what it is with Solskjaer, right? I mean, well, actually, to be fair, he is somebody who can get you top 4. So that's not, let's be fair there. I think he can get you top 4, but he doesn't develop youngsters. So
no, he doesn't.
He would be a good Levy appointment because he doesn't complain much about
exactly that I was thinking of that perspective.
A good Levy appointment,
and he'll be kind of okay with not kind of achieving stuff or kind of winning a couple of games and then being like, okay, it's a process, we need to do better and stuff and so on and so forth. But yeah, I think Ten Hag, could be somebody that makes sense for them. But again,
but that would be 5 years ago. Now I don't think I think Ten Hag has outgrown Spurs. I don't think he wants to go to Spurs. Not if he'll have better offers, basically. Not if Spurs are a bad club, but he's just gonna have better offers. I mean, there's gonna be possibly 2 or 3 clubs that are gonna need new managers in the summer. So there's better offers there from him. I mean, there's PSG. There's probably going to be, Inter Milan might need one. Juventus might need one. So there's better options out there for him. Just based on the teams that are out there that he might be better offers. So I don't see why he's going to go to Spurs, who are probably going to be in the Europa League at best. So that's just there. But yeah, they need to find somebody like that. Maybe Graham Potter. Maybe. Might be an option, but he's untested, but this might be a good way to give him that opportunity. Other than that, I don't know who else is out there. I mean, Nagelsmann's already booked, so you can't really take him. And I can't think of anybody else in the Bundesliga or, maybe Jardim from Sporting Lisbon. Well, not Jardim, sorry. I forget his name. Ruben Amorim from Sporting Lisbon. Jardim, sorry, was the guy.
I don't
kind of fallen off the radar though.
Yeah.
After his Monaco win, but maybe he might more consider it. But definitely, Amorim would be another good choice, I think, for someone to come into Spurs. So that's the kind of manager they need. Yeah.
But do you think Conte will leave?
I think he will. I think he will. I think he will be sacked as well. I think he could be sacked as well because I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, Mourinho was sacked as well, right? So I mean, they'll do it, especially if Levy goes, well, this guy's asking for too much. I don't want to give him. So there you go. And you're not even getting me top 4 anyway. So here you go. You're out. So he'll do that. He would do that. I think Conte will walk away as well. I just don't see it lasting. To be honest. And by the way, just for Conte, if you're complaining about the fact that you got 2 and you let go of 4, remember the other club that you were supposed to go to, they got nobody and they let go of 5 or 6. So, things could be worse for you. Just, sometimes the grass isn't, well, it's never greener anyway, but yeah, sometimes the grass is greener on your side of the field. So thing. Oh my God. Anyway, on that note, I think, I think this is an interesting discussion that we've had about Spurs. Let us know what you think about Spurs predicaments this season. I think this season and in general, I think it's just it's their reality, I guess, as somebody once said about something else. But let's hope for the best. Let's see where Spurs go.
And also the games that they have, like the coming up. Just to quickly just talk about that in a minute. Play Everton next, United, Brighton, and West Ham. Next 4 games.
Sorry, I'm muted. Yeah. So I think Everton, Brighton, West Ham. West Ham will be difficult, but I think the other 3 are winnable. So definitely, they should definitely be targeting the other 3. Right?
So against United, you think they're gonna?
It's winnable. I mean, United are struggling to beat anybody. They can't even beat Watford right now. So if you want to get into top 4, then you've got to beat teams like
exactly. And who are you? Who are you directly like the teams you're directly kind of competing with? So West Ham and United make sense.
And it's a winnable fixture. I mean, there's no ego here. It's a winnable fixture. I mean, I'm a United fan, but I'm not going to sit here and say that United are going to smash them. They're not. So it's a definitely a winnable fixture. In fact, I would say that any team could beat Man United. Man United is a winnable fixture for all 19 teams now. If you can't beat Watford, then it is a winnable fixture for anyone, right?
Makes sense.
No disrespect to Watford, they are the worst team in the league statistically. So we have to take that as a benchmark that they can be beaten. So
but there is an open chance for Spurs to kind of.
I mean, they win all those 2 games. Arsenal still have to play Liverpool. They still have to play Chelsea. They still have to play Spurs as well. So it's not they're out of the woods yet either. So they've got the time. They've got to start picking up points. I would like to see a top 4 race because otherwise, Arsenal would probably just take that 4th spot at the moment. At the moment, it looks like Arsenal have a free run for that 4th spot because West Ham are kind of up and down. Wolves are kind of slowing down now. After they threatened for it, but they're slowing down. Spurs are slowing down. So it's looking like a clear path for Arsenal. So unless Spurs and West Ham can again up their game. West Ham, of course, will be out of the Europa League in a couple of weeks' time because they're playing Sevilla of all teams in Sevilla. So they're going to be out of the Europa League because that you don't win against Sevilla in the Europa League. So
not in the Europa League, no. They're the Europa League champions.
Well, to be fair, history is kind. Sevilla, if they do not win the Europa League, they don't win it usually when they go out before the quarterfinals. They've never been out once they've got to the quarterfinals. They've always won the competition. So they've always, I mean, I think that's a statistic. But whenever they've not won the Europa League being in it, it's usually before the round of 16. So there's still hope for West Ham, very small hope, but they don't lose. So we don't lose. So West Ham will have a free run of games as well. So hopefully West Ham, Spurs, and maybe Wolves can challenge Arsenal a bit for that 4th spot.
Could be.
That would be the only thing. Anyway. On that note, we'll end it here. We might do more episodes as well. It's been a crazy time for me. So I apologize for that. We haven't been able to do a lot of videos, but we'll try to get back into the rhythm again. But thank you so much, Knayha, for joining me. It's always a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, Rohit.
Let us know in the comments section what you thought about Spurs, about their capitulation in the FA Cup and their season as a whole, their history as a whole. What do you think could be the way back for them? Back to the big time or the semi-big time. They are well placed to do it, so they could do it. But let us know. If you did enjoy this video, remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. We always appreciate your support. And so please keep doing that and helping us out. And we'll see you again very, very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.